Hi, y'all. Hey, good morning, y'all. What a beautiful day it is to be a child of God. And who didn't know that? I'm preparing for this big, extravagant event, right? And I have to listen to some music that I like, that I want to play at that event. So this morning and yesterday, one of the songs that I was playing just kept staying in my mind. I was like, oh no, I got to get rid of that, right? Because I don't like things floating in my mind that is not of God. That's just how I am. Because we all know that our mind is Satan's playground. That's what he do. He like to play with it. He like to throw thoughts in our mind and make us feel some type of way and act on some things. That's why it's important to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Hey y'all, we're in Romans chapter 5. When you get time, read the entire chapter. I'm going to be reading about sin. I want you to read about the free gift from God, which was Jesus Christ, and grace from 14 down. Verse 12. Therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned. Verse 14, nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over those who had not sinned, according to the likeness of the transgression of Adam, who is a type of him who was to come. Hey, y'all, we're in Romans chapter 12, going over to verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So let me be clear. The music that I was listening to was not no ratchet, pop, pop, turn around, give me some, none of that, okay? I'm preparing for a grown folk event, and it had some little old school that I was listening to, Isley Brothers and Gerald Levert and things like that. Now, I don't really listen to that often, right? But when I do, I do. And I like to get back to where I was because I like to praise and worship, and I love gospel music. So I like that type of feeling, right? And I like that in my mindset. Now, the scripture that I brought to you is to advise you and let you know that we have a sinful nature. We already have a default setting of sin. Excuse me. And so we automatically have a thought process of doing bad stuff or doing things against God, right? And so with that being said, the Bible tells us that we have to transform our mind. Do not be conformed of this world. Do not fit in like a chameleon in this world, right? We're supposed to be set apart. People should look at us and know what DNA, or be able to tell what DNA runs through our blood, right? And how do we transform our mind, which is our reasonable service? That's by reading his word. We're going to take out that old sinful nature and fill it with all of Jesus, right? By reading his word, praising and worshiping him, right? And so that mindset that we had is kind of like, or sinful nature that we have in our mind, is kind of like when you get your cell phone and it has the factory settings, right? That's what our default settings are. A sinful nature, our Adamic nature is our factory settings. We're already set to have a sinful nature, to do sinful things. And so when you get your cell phone, what do? You start to change things how you want it. You start to program things how you want it. You put the little screensaver on there. Back in the day, we had ringtones. You change the background and things of that nature. You might change your keyboard color as to your liking, right? And that's what we have to do with us. We have to transform ourselves into God's liking, into his image. We have to have a mind like Christ. We have to change our default settings, just as when you get your computer, right? It has that blue screen. Then you start to change things around on that. You're changing the default setting. And if you don't save it, then it'll go back to that setting, right? And so we want to make sure that when we are changing our setting, that we save it, okay? And that's just like when you raise your children. They have a default setting, but you're training them up in the way that they're supposed to go. Same way, our Father wants us to change our default setting. Do not be conformed in this world, because what's in here is not ours anyway. What good does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul, right? And there's a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, there's destruction. I hope this helps somebody. Change your mindset, boo, because what you're doing is not right. Have a blessed day.